Good morning, everybody. It's the 3rd of June, about 10:30 in the morning. I'm going to make a little video here for my dentist, Dr. Harry Jew, down in San Francisco. He's curious about my cars. Dr. Jew is a auto restoration fellow himself. He's working on a Jaguar, old XKE, if I remember correctly. Doctor, this is my 1957 Chevrolet two-door sedan, model 210, one-owner car, 283 V8. Real straight body on this car. Got some bare metal paint in a couple places. A couple of blisters on the door and the fender. I'll have to be making new parts for that stuff and welding them in, but I don't plan on doing much to that car. Put new interior in it, and I'd like to paint the inside. I'd like the inside to be new, but the outside, it's pretty straight. I'd probably just pretty much leave it the way it is. This truck right here, this 1952 GMC, I guess you might call this a 100. I bought this truck back in the 70s, probably maybe 72, 73. And I drove this car out here from Colorado in 1984. Drove it a couple of years here on the freeway. And I threw a rod in it trying to keep up with traffic on the freeway. But I'll be working on this truck here in the near future. Got a couple old trucks back here I bought in the junkyard. And they told me they weren't running. They were going to either part them out or scrap them, crush them. So I got a pretty good deal on both of them. And so I picked them up just pretty much just to save them from being destroyed. They told me that neither one of them run. Took me a couple hours to get this one running, and I drove it home. And without any brakes, had a hand emergency brake that I was able to make it stop with. Same story with this truck. It took me 3 or 4 days to get this one going, but I drove it home, and it didn't have any brakes, but the handbrake worked, and I was able to get it to stop. So they just been sitting here. I fire them up every now and then and let them warm up, circulate a little oil through them. They both need to have oil changed in them. They still have the oil in it that came in each engine, so that needs to be cleaned up. This 62 Chevrolet right here, I bought 4th of July last year. It was a one-owner truck, and this was a kind of a spontaneous, spur-of-the-moment buy. I saw it sitting on the street with a sign on it, and I like this year truck. I prefer the step side, but I got one of those, so I got a decent deal on this truck. I'm doing a little work on it right now. It's been sitting here since I got it. And just here 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started puttering around with it, trying to get it tuned up and get it running, and I just couldn't get it running right. And I finally decided it must have a burn valve in it, and so I pulled the head off, and sure enough, number 4 cylinder had a big craters in the exhaust valve. So that head is in the shop. I'm waiting on him to get that back. I went to work on the lights. It didn't have any lights. I got the headlights and tail lights working, the park lights, front and rear, all the lights are working, and now I'm waiting on parts for the turn signal mechanism in the steering column. So we'll be getting that put back together here pretty quick too. This is the cab. This yellow thing up here is the cab to my 62 short step side. This is a frame-off restoration, as you can tell. And this cab is complete. I got put a new roof on it. I put some flooring panels, not a complete new floor. Under the seat here was good, and the back side was good, but some of this stuff down along the side was bad. It's got new rocker panels on it, new cab corners. I repaired a bunch of rust here. I cut out some steel and put in some new stuff. Same on this side, new rocker panel, new A-pillar bottom, B-pillar bottom. I did replace some of this stuff. There was rust in behind here, so I cut this out and repaired the rust behind this piece here. I fabricated both corners on this thing right here. They were rusted out. This is where the inner fender well bolts up, and this was pretty well shot, so I repaired that. This Jeep I bought last October also. I bought it up in the mountains here. It's a 53 Willys Overland, four-wheel drive Jeep. I bought this for sentimental reasons. Me and a friend back in sometime in the 70s jumped in one of these in Colorado and drove it down to Baja, down to Cabo San Lucas. Spent a couple of months down in Mexico, and I was so impressed with that little truck. I said if I ever had an opportunity to buy one, I would pick it up, and I saw this one for sale, and so I just snagged it. This is my daily driver right here, 2008 Chevrolet. This is the one that brings me down to San Francisco to sit in your dental chair. So that's, let me show you this chassis off of that 62. I need to get back to work on this. I like trying to work on this in the winter because it gets so hot inside this shop here, and it's crowded in here. I don't like it much, but this is the chassis to that 62 Chevy, that cab that's sitting out there. I got a little bit of sandblasting to do, a little bit of painting to do, then clean it all up and give it another coat of paint. And this is the front suspension for it, laying right here. I'll get that sandblasted, painted, and get it reinstalled, and get the cab set back on this chassis, and start reassembling that cab. And after the cab, then I'll go to work on this bed right here. This is the bed setting up against the fence here, what's left of the fence. And it's in pretty good shape. It's got years of dings and bangs on it, but we'll straighten most of that out and reuse it. I got fenders for it sitting back here. This is my side yard. We're in a drought right now again, and the wells are going dry around here, so I'm not watering and I'm not mowing. So here I got two pairs of fenders. One of those in the back there is the original fender for it, and the second one here is the original fender for that truck. We'll see if I can't get the originals back on it and